Hello everyone. Today we are going to know about our new topic that is very interesting. Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. Children, the lions that we see on our notes and coins have a long story. They were carved in stone and placed on top of a massive stone pillar at Sarnath. Ashoka was one of the greatest rulers known to history, and on his instructions, inscriptions were inscribed on pillars as well as on rock surfaces. Before we find out what was written in these inscriptions, let us see why his kingdom was called an empire. A very big kingdom, an empire. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta was supported by a wise man named Chanakya or Kautilya. Many of Chanakya's ideas were written down in a book called the Arthashastra. There were several cities in this empire. These included the capital Patliputra, Takshila, and Ujjain. Takshila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route from north to south India. Merchants, officials, and craftspersons probably lived in these cities. In other areas, there were villages of farmers and herders. In some areas, such as central India, there were forests where people gathered forest produce and hunted animals for food. People in different parts of the empire spoke different languages. They probably ate different kinds of food and wore different kinds of clothes as well. How are empires different from kingdoms? Emperors need more resources than kings because empires are larger than kingdoms and need to be protected by big enemies. So also they need a larger number of officials who collect taxes. Ashoka, a unique ruler. The most famous and greatest ruler of the Mauryan dynasty was Ashoka. He was the first people who tried to take his message to the people through his inscriptions. Most of Ashoka's inscriptions were in Sanskrit and were written in the Brahmi script. The name Ashoka means without sorrow in Sanskrit. Do you know, children, that Ashoka in his younger days was very temperamental? After his conquest of Kalinga, Ashoka became a very famous king and got the title Devanam Priya Priyadarshi, or one who is loved by the gods. Ashoka's edicts revealed historical facts about Ashoka's existence only in the 21st century, like the Kandhar Edict recovered in 1963. Ashoka's war in Kalinga. Kalinga is the ancient name of coastal Odisha. Ashoka fought a war to conquer Kalinga. However, he was so horrified when he saw the violence and bloodshed that he decided not to fight any more wars. Began in the 8th year of Ashoka's reign, probably in 261 BC, after a bloody battle, Ashoka tried to annex Kalinga. In the aftermath of the Battle of Kalinga, the Daya River, running next to the battlefield, turned red with the blood of the slain. He is the only king in the history of the world who gave up conquest after winning a war. A sudden change of heart. After the battle, in a tour of city, he could see nothing except burnt houses and scattered corpses. This sight made him sick and he cried the famous monologue. What have I done? If this is a victory, what's a defeat then? Is this a victory or a defeat? Is this justice or injustice? Is it gallantry or a rout? Is it valor to kill innocent children and women? Do I do it to widen the empire and for prosperity, or to destroy the other's kingdom and splendor? One has lost her husband, someone else a father, someone a child, someone an unborn infant. What's this debris of the corpses? Are these marks of victory or defeat? Are these vultures, crows, eagles, the messengers of death? What was Ashoka's Dhamma? Ashoka's Dhamma did not involve worship of a god or performance of a sacrifice. He felt that just as father tries to teach his children, he had a duty to instruct his subjects. He was also inspired by the teachings of Buddha. Dhamma is a set of edicts that formed a policy of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka, who succeeded to Mauryan throne in modern-day India around 269 CE. He considered as one of the greatest kings of ancient India for his policies of public welfare. So children, I hope we can say that Emperor Ashoka was a very unique ruler. In the history of the world, there have been thousands of kings and emperors who called themselves their highness, their majesties, and their exalted majesties, and so on. They shone for a brief moment and as quickly disappeared. But Ashoka shines and shines brightly like a